Iceland. Mountains, ice, volcanoes, cold. Here are 4 great books set in Iceland. There is a murder mystery with hidden messages, a rundown hotel that has some strange things happening, a young woman sentenced to death, and a retelling of tales of old. Hi everyone, it's Catherine here. During lockdown we did a stack of jigsaws and this one really mesmerised me. This big green mountain looked to me like it had been carved by giants. Once I realised it was in Iceland, this sent me into a frenzy of reading books set there. Now, many books later, I am truly impressed by this land of extremes and its people. Here are my top 4 picks. The first book is by a famous Icelandic author. She has published over 20 books and it's a murder mystery. It's called Why Did You Lie? The story starts off with 4 people being winched from a helicopter down onto a lighthouse. This lighthouse is actually a real place in the south of Iceland. It's perched on top of a rock pillar with barely any room to move and pounded night and day by treacherous waves. You just don't get any more extreme than this. Then over in Reykjavik, Icelandic pronunciation is tough on my Aussie tongue. Apologies to all Icelanders in advance for the mistakes I make. Right, let's try that again. Over in Reykjavik, this charming city juts out on a peninsula and it's full of colourful houses. And this is where the rest of the action takes place. There is a policewoman with her husband lying in a coma in a hospital bed, and then there's this other unrelated family who have just returned home from holidays in Florida in the USA. I don't want to give too much away, but as the story evolves, I am struggling to understand how the 3 different stories are connected. But the body count grows and the suspense keeps freaking me out and has me turning the pages. That is, right up until the end, when I was so stunned, I just wanted to throw the book at the wall. Read this if you are a fan of Nordic noir. That's crime stories that are set in bleak landscapes. This is definitely one of the best crime stories set in Iceland. Now let's try a different perspective and see Iceland through the eyes of a visitor in this delightful cozy romance called The Northern Lights Hotel. It's by Julie Caplin. Our leading lady is Lucy and she is based in the UK and has suffered a big career setback. Basically, out of desperation, she takes a job managing a hotel in the wilds of Iceland. Think amazing landscapes with waterfalls and glaciers and cashed up tourists chasing the northern lights. That's those magical green and blue lights that sometimes float like clouds through the sky at night. Then there is a cute Scottish guy called Alex. He is working at the hotel undercover as a barman. Cue romance, and there are no prizes for guessing. Mishaps will occur and hearts will be tested. But this book has so much more. A big gang of locals are also working at the hotel. They all have Nordic names, which at first reminds me of Vikings. But I soon realised that Hekla, Brynja, Olfa and gang add so much more to the story with their local customs and culture. Like Hygge. It's a concept about mindfully creating cozy comfort in your life. Hygge has been practiced in Nordic countries for years. The rest of us found out about it in a big way when this book hit the New York Times bestseller list a few years ago. And everyone ran around and brought cozy socks. But the Hygge concept is so much more. It's like trying to create an overall sense of well-being, a strong theme throughout the story. Lucy has a big job on her hands, and strange things keep happening in the hotel. Is it the huddle folk? Are hidden people similar to elves playing up? Or is it something less magical, putting a spanner in the works? Read this if you want to escape everyday life and enjoy a relatable story with lovely scenery and people. In this book, we go back to 1829. This is a time when ponies are ridden to travel long distances and turf homes are common in the countryside. The book is based on a true story and is called Burial Rites. It's by Hannah Kent. Agnes is a young woman who has been condemned to death for murdering her former master. Whilst Agnes awaits her fate, she is billeted in a farmhouse. The farmer's wife and daughters are actually petrified of having a murderer in their midst. So Agnes spends her days in solitude and squalor in this remote, bleak outpost. It's a traditional turf house covered in grass. Inside it's dark and it's dank, and the cold seeps in through every crook and cranny. The writing is so captivating. As I was reading, I felt like I was in the room with Agnes shivering alongside her. Her only respite are visits from a young priest called Kari. He slowly tries to get Agnes to open up about the murder. And that's when you start to wonder, did she really do it? Read this if you like historical fiction that uncovers true stories. Iceland has a strong history of storytelling. They say 1 in 7 Icelanders are writing a book. And a popular tradition is Jólabókaflóð, which means the Christmas book flood. For Christmas, every person in the family receives a new book. This totally sounds like my kind of place. And our next book taps into this obsession with storytelling. It's called Saga by Richard Fidler and Kari Gislason. The book shares the tales of old Iceland in a way that is accessible and engaging to a modern reader. These tales are known as the sagas, and they are short stories that cover everything from blood feuds to tales of love and lust. But the real magic in this book is Richard and Kari, the authors, as we travel with them on their journey around Iceland and enjoy their banter and insights. Overall, this book is part travelogue, part history with lots of side trips, like the role this haunted house in Reykjavik played when Reagan and Gorbachev met in the 80s to try and save the world from nuclear destruction, and why the American chess grandmaster Bobby Fischer ended up living in Iceland. But still, this book has even more, as there is a family mystery to solve. One of the authors, Kari, was born and lived in Iceland as a young boy before he and his mother moved to Australia. Part of his personal mission is to unravel if he is related to a famous Icelandic poet warrior. By one of those weird twists of fate, can Kari be a direct descendant of the man that originally converted these sagas from oral to written form way back in the 13th century? That would be just too bizarre, wouldn't it? Read this if you want a deep dive into Icelandic life, from the times of the Vikings through to today. So that's 4 ways to visit Iceland through books, and we haven't even mentioned puffins, those adorable birds that look like cartoon characters, or the locals' obsession with hot pots at swimming pools heated naturally by geothermal energy from volcanoes. No wonder Iceland always makes it into the top 10 happiest places in the world to live. Links to all the books and extra content with singing and dancing Icelanders is in the description below. Do you have a travel-loving or book-obsessed friend? Then please share this video with them now. Treat them to a book adventure and help me build my channel. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on the next episode. See you next time.